Time to bring it on with your email questions. And Gordon, this first one comes from, I think it's East, who says, am I making a mockery of God because I know he will forgive me of my sins if I confess to him? Sometimes I know what I'm doing is wrong, but I know God's going to forgive me, so I willingly indulge in sin. I'm at the point where I want God wholeheartedly. I want his son to dwell in me. But how can God dwell in the heart of a sinner?
You've hit a question that I think has been a question in Christianity since the beginning. You look at this, and from a theological standpoint, you're saying, what about sins of presumption, where you presume upon the grace, you presume upon the love of God? And there's a reason Jesus talked about the tax collector. You'll find this story in Luke 18, where there's a tax collector and there's a Pharisee. And here's the Pharisee, he's living his life right, and he's saying, I tithe, I give a portion of everything, I fast twice a week, and he's literally boasting in front of God. But here comes a tax collector whose very job makes him sin every single day. You know, tax collection today, they take it quietly out of every paycheck. But tax collection back in the time of Jesus was a forcible thing, where they deprived people of their goods. And usually a tax collector was skimming at the same time. So his very livelihood meant that he sinned every day. And here's this tax collector, and he stands afar off in the temple. He's still in the temple, but he stands afar off. He beats his chest and he says, have mercy on me, a sinner. And then Jesus said, he's the one who walked away justified. We all sin. We all sin in thought and word and deed, and we do it every day. And Jesus is able to overcome that. He died while we were yet sinners. He died so he could go into the heart of a sinner. Don't deny his power. He is able to overcome that. He's able to forgive all of it. Now the issue for you is your behavior, and you're getting into a point where you don't even like yourself anymore. And that's a real problem. And that's one that you need to be delivered from. Habitual sin can be broken. I highly recommend fasting as a way to break habitual sin habits. And so try that, but also focus on Jesus is able. And I hear what you say, that you're at the point where you want to serve God wholeheartedly. Tell him that. Surrender your will. Say, not my will be done, your will be done in my life. Turn from that. And every time you fall, get back up and go right back to him and say, I am so sorry. I'm doing the thing that I abhor. And for anyone that wants to say this is some license to sin, no. The Apostle Paul was very specific with that. It's not a license to sin. And remember this, the wages of sin are death. And every time you willingly engage in sin, you're just condemning yourself, a portion of yourself to die. A little bit of you will die. So realize that. Go to the source of life. Go to the source of deliverance. Go to the source of forgiveness. And realize he will accept you. One more.
This is from Patrick, who says, my wife and I are really getting deeper into the Word and have noticed that many translations are available to read. What is your favorite translation to read and to study?
Well, Patrick, the first one I like to read is the New King James Version. I think that's one of the most accurate. The Revised American's pretty good. I like the New Living as well. And so those are my sort of three go-tos when I just want to sit back and read the Bible. When I want to study the Bible, that's a completely different thing. And I like the interlineal translations, where you get to see the original Greek, you get to see the original Hebrew. You need to make sure you've got a good dictionary with you so that you can interpret the words and read what the definitions and read what the original thoughts were. Translations always mess it up. And so when you get to the original, you get a clearer understanding. So those are my favorites.